Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier, Andretti. Mike's Instant Movie Review, Adam Driver, Penelope Cruz. Just saw it. Should you see it? Should you not? Well, I will give you a little caveat. If you do plan on seeing this movie Andretti in the big theater, on the big screen, in the auditorium, in the theater, purchasing a ticket, whether you have a subscription to one of these theater chains, or I believe Movie Pass just got reincarnated, or if you pay full price, I don't want to say like an idiot, but like an idiot, to see this film, make sure you see it early on the best possible screen. I think there's going to be a remarkably different experience if you see this if you see this movie on an IMAX or on a on a big screen. If you see it on the big screen, IMAX type of deal, as opposed to just a regular, like, standardized screen, the car races especially, okay, as you might imagine. The film was directed by Michael Mann. He's done a ton of shit we've all seen. You know what I mean? Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise, and that one that we all watched 20 years ago, whatever the fuck. He's been around the block. He's made some movies. This screening that I saw tonight, after the film ended, there was a little mini interview with Michael Mann and like the audio tech guy, which was interesting. It was kind of like I couldn't figure out which was which for a minute or so, because I think the audio tech guy was a little more reserved and well-dressed, to be honest. No offense, Michael Mann. I'm trying to give myself some more fucking light here, which it's not working. So what else? Well, did I like the movie? Did I not? I kind of did. I think I'm fucking around with this thing. I'm trying to give myself some more light for you fine folks, but I'm not having much luck, okay? So, did I like the movie? Did I not? I sort of did. I think the discrepancy is that I have a creative project of my own that I want to be putting some time into, and I took time out of my busy schedule with that to come to this movie. And, you know, it's always a sacrifice. You can't be two fucking places at once, can you? So this thing's not working. I don't know what to do. But basically, this movie is good. I don't know if it's great. I think the car racing scenes might be great. What it reminded me of quite a bit was a couple of years ago, maybe 3, around Thanksgiving time, there was a movie called Gucci, once again with Adam Driver and with Lady Gaga. Christ. So I kind of feel like this is kind of like that. Basically another, biopic, Italian legend, big name, all that good stuff. So if you like Gucci, which I kind of did, you'd probably like this, which I kind of did. Let me get to some things that I didn't like. First of all, it's another one of these movies that's like kind of co-signed by the family. Like at the end of the movie, I want to say it was kind of based on the book or somehow in conjunction with the remaining son, the living son of Andretti, like the Pietro Andretti. So it's kind of like he's flim-flamming, like he's telling us how great his dad is, even though his father had flaws. And usually what that means is, oh, my dad fucked around a lot. Basically the father Andretti had 2 wives, 2 sons, one by the Penelope Cruz wife, Lara. So basically he's doing that whole thing. It's another man with a problem movie, and this problem is, pardon my French, but I'm French, pussy problems. The gentleman has pussy problems. He's got one wife that he's sick of. They had a son together. Once again, another familiar movie trope. Yes, I know it's a true story. The couple that's breaking apart because their child is dead. And but what was I kind of thought was interesting, credit to Penelope Cruz. I don't know how old she is, but I would say that she looks great as always, and she's probably playing opposite a gentleman, Adam Driver, who's probably 20 years her junior. But with the, her tight skin on her face and her sensational figure, which means she's hot, she's able to pull it off that they're around the same age, and they do a nice job of giving Adam Driver some white hair to age him up a bit. I'm not sure how old this fucker is now. Maybe he's 35, maybe he's 40. I don't fucking know. But they're able to make it, make him look a lot older. Penelope, I'm not sure what they did to her, but she looks fantastic as always. And so it's very believable that they're this couple, even if you're an informed film viewer and you know that in real life, there's probably a 20 or 15-year age gap, or maybe 10, her being the senior. Because I just bring it up, folks, because normally we see all these, like, Harrison Ford and, Alicia Silverstone together at last, or Richard Gere and Winona Ryder, or, George Burns and Katy Perry are dating. All these May-December relationships, they always go in the favor of the man. But here, in this movie, we have the older actress. I think Penelope's older than fucking Adam, but whatever the fuck. Then you have this other wife, the second wife, and she has the son, Pietro, that's still living. He's still alive. Here was my big thing early in this film. And also, folks, I did see another movie today. I double dipped on my movies. I saw The Shift before this one. There was an hour break in between films. So I kind of did my enjoyment of this one maybe was a little disserved because I had already had like a full movie experience. And I had to double dip because I have so many things going on that I really just needed to be at the theater and bang these two out for you fine folks before I see The Iron Claw tomorrow. So all these wonderful things, but point is, if this had been the only movie I had seen today, I probably would have enjoyed it a bit more. And I did see it on a wonderful Dolby Digital screen, awesome sound, beautiful picture, my favorite seat in the theater I got. So everything was fine. I just feel like some of these things in this movie I'm just familiar with. Like, okay, the guy with the aforementioned woman folk problems. He's got 2 wives, or 2 women. He's got 2 sons. One's deceased, one's alive. We've seen all this horse shit before. He's trying to mitigate his 2 relationships, and he wants to be a winner. And of course, he's all about racing cars. He doesn't really care about selling to consumers. He just wants to have the fastest drivers, the fastest cars, and what do you know? There's a lot of death in this world. Now, spoiler, we get to kind of the highlight of this movie, or the low light, depending on how you see it, but a beautifully filmed tragedy of a car accident. Now, if you've been watching my reviews, you hear me say that all these tropes of car accidents and dead people, dead children, dead parents in all these movies, but this one, the car accident scene in the big race was actually unbelievably well shot and did kind of surprise me because I didn't read up on this thing, or I don't know all these things about Andretti. So this terrible car accident, you see how it all breaks down. You see unfortunately, spectators get killed. I'm assuming that's a true story. Very dramatic, and so forth. Now, I kind of knew that something big was happening around the time we were getting to that race, so I really had to facilitate, i.e. use the restroom, but I held off until after that tragic accident, because I'm like, okay, well, I know that at this point in the film, they're going to be dealing with the aftermath. There's probably going to be a couple of serious conversation scenes, so this will be a good time for me to take my little break, which I did. So when I got back to the theater, it kind of seemed like things were wrapping up with the whole fucking movie, so and it's one of those things where, to be honest, I don't know if I'm that curious that I'm going to run out and see this one again. Because as I stated, if I were to see this one again, or if I were to see this one, I'm recommending that you see it on a Dolby Digital or an IMAX or a Big D. Do I really want to rush out and see this one within the next week? Because I'm assuming, and when you assume, you're usually correct, that I would have to rush out and see this thing right away because another big, Christmas movie is going to come out and supersede this one. and this one will be demoted to like the shittier screens, okay? That's just how this world works. So my point of the matter of the fact is this: I'm not sure what the fuck I'm going to do, okay? I don't know if I particularly want to go see this thing again from top to bottom. I would like to fill in the gaps of what I missed. Now, here's my other big thing with this movie. As soon as this movie started, I was having a little bit of a flashback. Several years ago, maybe just one or two, there was a movie with our same gentleman hero here, Adam Driver. It was some type of, like, he's from a parallel universe, and there's a fucking dinosaur involved or some horse shit. And but the movie starts off, oh, in a land like our own. And it's like, what? And it's like, oh, this movie, he's from a parallel universe where like man and fucking dinosaur are hanging out together. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But on that universe, he's speaking English, like American U.S. English. I'm like, oh, wow, what a fucking coincidence. Of all the goddamn parallel universes where this dude's hanging out with dinosaurs, he happens to be speaking U.S. contemporary English, and he happens to be wearing clothes that look like they're from the fucking Gap, okay? What a coincidence that this other parallel universe, everyone speaks modern 2020 English, U.S., and they wear clothes from the Gap or from Target or whatever the fuck. Now, flash forward to this movie, and the movie starts, and right away I notice, well, gee whiz, this is interesting. Isn't this movie supposed to be taking place in 1950s Italy? And why are they all speaking English? There is an Italian language, right? So why aren't they speaking Italiano? Why are they all fucking speaking English? And they're all speaking English in that kind of, yes, you see what I'm doing. They all speak in that kind of clipped tone that we kind of, American actors, if they're playing a European person in the United States, we give them that kind of clipped tone. You have to see what I am doing. And I mean, I guess it's kind of the way that people sound. Like if they're from Europe and they speak French or Italian, and then they're speaking English over here, they sort of sound like that, sort of don't. But why would the characters in this 1950s Italian story all be speaking English? Why? Well, the answer, my friends, is because it's a movie. And because assholes like me and you are going to go see it in the United States. And we don't want to sit there through Adam Driver and Penelope Cruz struggling with Italian for 2 hours, do we? So it's a conceit. We conceit that they do not speak fucking Italian. When this thing really happened, they were speaking Italian. But in the movie version of events, they're speaking English. Well, why bother speaking the clipped English? Like, why have the actors speak this clipped English as if these are people that are trying to assimilate in the United States? I'm just pointing this out because these things kind of annoy me, and I don't have a perfect solution because I don't know if I'd want to sit there and watch the movie with, like I said, Penelope Cruz, Adam Driver, and all these other people speaking Italian because they probably couldn't speak it very well, or with subtitles. I don't know what I want, okay? I'm just pointing out that this grievance irritates me because if you think about it, you see all these movies, it's like, oh, okay, they're in France, or they're in Germany, or they're in Mexico, but they're all speaking fucking English. But, right? So what the goddamn fuck? It just makes no sense. So there you go, folks. That's my big chagrin. Like I said, I have no solution to this quandary. It's just something that annoys the hell out of me once I started thinking about it. And I didn't start thinking about it until our buddy there, Adam Driver, with his dinosaur movie from 2 or 3 years ago, which was so horrible I fell asleep during most of it. Now, this movie I did like I said, I guess I'm not cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over it. It's not my favorite movie of the year. Not even close. I mean, it's to be blunt, it's nice to see a sex scene with Penelope Cruz, although we don't see much. And, you know, she's getting a little bit older, but she's a sexy woman, great actress, blah, blah, blah. It's interesting, like, how her and Salma Hayek pretty much always compete for the same fucking role. And they did do a movie together, Banditas, I believe it was called. In any event, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I can't say, like, I don't think it's a great movie. I do think, once again, if you're a car enthusiast, which I'm not, you'd probably like this movie more than I did. I think all the acting was fine, high level cinematography. It's just, I guess I wasn't riveted. You know what I mean? And I guess because I don't have a working interest in the Andretti family, I didn't give a fuck that much. But was it a well-made movie? Yes. Was it entertaining? Yes. You have your guy with a problem, the man with two wives, blah, blah, blah. And you have the oppression of women, and they're just being used to service the man to make heirs to the throne, blah, blah, blah. And you have this is the life we choose. It's full of danger and risk and, big speeches and all this horse shit. So, I mean, it was all fine and fucking Jim Dandy, okay? But it wasn't the most original thing, and it wasn't like, oh my God, you got to go see this holy goddamn shit. But I would just say if you're a fan of Andretti, or if you're intrigued, or if you're an Italian American who has to support everything Italian American or Italian, then go right ahead and see it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. I think the term I'm looking for, folks, is by the numbers. You know what I mean? Like if you remember the Aretha Franklin narrative with what's her name, Jennifer Hudson, 3 or 4 years ago, similar to this, kind of like, okay, that was good, that was serviceable. By the numbers, similar to a lot of these movies that are kind of just what you would expect. Like, okay, that's kind of what I expected, and here it is. So not a lot of chance taking. Now, the opposite of that, the oxymoron of that, or the non-equation, something like the Elvis movie from a year or two ago, which was a lot more risk-taking with a lot of stuff, with the editing, the high speed, the rap music infested into the movie or ingested or intertwined. With this, by the numbers. Okay, so if you like the number, look, I have a good friend of mine that used to race cars. He did a lot of things in his life. He is of Italian heritage, so he'd probably love this thing. So for a guy like that, my buddy there, David, go see the movie early. Don't wait. Don't sit on your dick and hold your dick and say, oh, I want to go see that. I hate when assholes say, oh, I want to go see that. I want to go see that. And then the movie comes and goes from the theater. Oh, I wanted to go see that. Well, shit for brain. This is what you do. You put your goddamn key in your car, you drive to the movie theater, and you go see the movie. It's not that fucking difficult. So then the assholes are like, oh, I wanted to see that. I'll just watch it at home. I'll watch it when it comes on Netflix. Okay, pedestrian. So anyway, folks, that's my fucking movie review. I give it 3 out of 5, I guess. It's good. It's serviceable. The car scenes are great. The tragic accident, I thought, was the best part of the movie. Penelope Cruz, always a favorite. The other woman, I've seen her in something. I couldn't remember her. She playing Italian. The blonde lady, I don't know. I mean, she wasn't very convincing. I don't think she's Italian in real life. I've seen her in something. I can't remember what. But, it is what it is. What it is. It was fine. MikeMessier.com. Mike Messier. Buy all my books. Subscribe to all my channels. Go to the Foreign Object eBay store. Buy all my horse shit. And do everything I say. Mike Messier.